live. Hi, everybody. It's Thursday, June 26th, and this is NA Lit Chat. This is the New Adult Lit Chat. We talk about that category of books called New Adult. It is somewhere in between Young Adult and Never Grown Up, but Chick Lit, Adult, etc. Usually features characters between the ages of late 17 and 25, 26. And it's all about those moments in life where you're falling and there's nobody there to catch a parachute. You've got to land on your own 2 feet. So we are here tonight to talk about how to build your author platform. If you guys have been paying attention to all of June, except for last week when we got a little bit silly, we're talking about new platforms that you can graduate to so that you can expand your brand beyond Facebook and Twitter. And tonight, I think I speak for the whole team here at NA Lit Chat when I tell you we are really excited about this one. We are going to talk about Google+, specifically, but all things Google, really, because in addition to Google+, you've got YouTube and SEO stuff and how that all factors into, as well as your Google author name. And if you've got a blog, whether you do that on Blogger or WordPress or Tumblr, there are a lot of different ways where Google can tie all these things together. And that sounds kind of obvious because, of course, we all know that Google is the biggest search engine. But it really does go a little bit deeper. And I am so excited to introduce you to Yolanda Shoshana, who's our guest tonight. And she has made a career of figuring out how all of these things come together. And she's going to give us all these tips and tricks. But first, she's going to tell us about who she is and what she does and how she uses Google+ and all the fun things that the internet has to offer.
Yes, okay.
How hard is it?
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Thank you for having me. Who I am an author. I write erotica. I'm also a clairvoyant, and I am a witch. I have used social media to take my business from New York to around the world. Google Plus is actually I'd say my favorite platform over the Facebook, and I do love Twitter. I actually have been on Google Plus since the very beginning. I got the invite and I said yes.
You sent it to me, actually.
Yes,
when it was still in beta. I know. And I felt so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and what I love about Google Plus is it has changed a lot from the beginning to where it is now because Google was actually listening to what people wanted. It's probably going to change again, though. So there's a lot you can do with it, from obviously Hangouts, here we are, which go to YouTube, which is actually probably one of the best things you can do as a writer, especially if you can't afford to travel. You can use Hangouts. And it's very easy because you don't have to worry about filming everything. It's just going to go to your YouTube page, filmed, and voila. Another great thing that it's for is SEO. And I tell people, even if you don't want to use it to network, you can use it for your SEO because if you post links, it's going to give you a higher ranking on Google. People think it's a ghost town. It's not like Facebook and it's not like Twitter. People come to read things. It's also a different crowd. There are more men on it than there are women. I definitely see a lot of writers, a lot of food people are on it, and it just keeps growing. I keep seeing people who say they're not going to use it kind of dip their toe on it. And now you can find out how many people are looking at your page. I have, I think, almost 2 million views. Yeah, see, that stuff actually becomes important. It's great, of course, if you use Blogger. But it's also great if you are using another blog and you want to post and get your SEO up. I actually got one of my highest paid writing gigs. I got a column from being on Google+. Another writer saw me. She recommended me. I've never met the woman. To this day, I still have not met her, but I got to write a fetish column for Diesel Books. So you just never know who's peeking around on Google+, which is why I tell people to use it.
Well, I have to say, and then I want to check in with, we've got S.T. Bende and Chris Fox here in the studio with us tonight. Hey, guys.
Hi, please teach us how to use the Google+, Yolanda.
Well, I will say this, and our darling D.A. Boda can testify to this, I think, but when I post things on my regular blog, which is a WordPress blog, nothing really happens. It does repeat to Google Plus automatically. But there have been a couple times when I posted things to my old blogger page just to keep it updated, and then, oh my God, is that a difference? And we really need to get the flow here of how to do these things as soon as we check in on the news, because I posted one thing about my book, which is a generic title. It's called Clicks, and it went to Google Plus for my blogger page. And now when you search for the word clicks, it comes up.
Seriously?
Seriously, the word clicks, having nothing to do with my book.
Oh my gosh.
And that is directly because of my link from Blogger and Google Plus. And I will tell you, for D.A. Boda, he was so amazing. He was just such an amazing supporter for PK and I when we were nominated for Utopia Awards. And he was posting all the time. And his page, because he was posting to Google Plus, comes up. He's like the third thing for Utopia because he posted so many times and he wasn't even there. And
wow.
It's really powerful. So, ST, why don't you tell us a little bit about your day today, because we need some help from everybody in Twitter land.
Oh, my day?
Your day. Your day started, my day with you started at like 6:30 my time, so
yes.
I don't even know what you've been up to.
Well, I have fun news. My fun news is that my book boyfriend Ul made the NA Crush Tourney 14, and his match is today. So if anyone loves a certain Norse god who may or may not be on Twitter but not yet Google Plus, because his maker is confused.
Is he here? He's here tonight on Twitter though, so you guys.
He's here. He's tweeting, and he would love your vote. So if it's an option, please go over to NA Alley blog. They're actually, ours is on the second page of posts. We're like the fourth one of the day or something. But he loves you, and he will give you Olaf's warm hugs and a sticker if you please vote for him. But also, Faith Sullivan from us she's got her matchup next week. So her Carpenter Eric made the Crush Tourney too. So
nice.
If we want to spread some NA Lit Chat love, then next week, I think it's on Thursday, turn out and give Faith a fist bump.
Awesome. Well, we will talk to you, Faith, next week. Chris Fox, what's your news of the week?
My news of the week is I've been writing and editing, and I'm just I'm doing stuff slowly, very slowly, but it's happening.
Are you done with the day job?
I am done with the day job, and I'm just I'm focusing on writing, and I like it. It's nice, and I get to wake up late, which is even nicer.
We're all really excited that you get to focus on writing and editing. It's huge.
Nice.
It's huge. Well, I have some whacked out news of the day, and then we're gonna go to Twitter news. And Shoshi has some really big news this week that I think I kind of want to save it till the end, because I think like it's gonna color, like everybody's just gonna want to talk to you about that. If we announce what I saw you post this week, and I have a million questions.
Okay.
Okay, but just tell us now, because I got to that.
Oh well.
Yeah, we're not patient.
I am now an acquisitions book manager for Book Trope.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I am focusing on erotica. I am helping them really build erotica because they don't really have anything in place, but I am very much excited about that, and I'm looking for books. I'm looking for people to work with. I think it's a great platform. They have raised money before, and they're doing very well. So I think it's like a mix of self-publishing meets traditional publishing, and I like it. And everybody can make money and be happy and get their books out in the world. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
And for those of you guys who don't know, I'm sure she is an author, but she's like a lifestyle brand, and she's got like the bigger O than Oprah, because it's the sexy prize.
Hey.
So she is, as long as I've known her, she's read everything. But yeah. I think that her books definitely go with her brand, and we have a lot of discussions around here on NA Lit Chat because we have all kinds of authors and all kinds of books here. We have everything from erotica to sort of sexy to slightly sexy to sweet, and we love it all. So I know there are a lot of authors in our audience that might be a good fit, and should definitely come and talk to you, and you guys can always find her on Twitter or find me, and I'm happy to make the introduction, but we don't want to make anybody wait for your news.
Yeah, thank you. And I am looking for spicy romance as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be erotica, but something spicy, something sexy, you know.
Nice. We've got a lot of that. And we've got some not so much of that. And we're always, well, no, it's kind of important because as NA has, yeah, it's all good. And as NA has grown up a little bit, we've got some really well-known books and authors that write the really sexy stuff in the category, and then we've got a whole bunch of people, especially in our audience, who want to write for this like age range so badly, and they're still trying to match up with that perfect audience. So that's one of the things we do here. We try to help everybody, no matter what part of the spectrum they're writing for, find people who want to read it, and we love that about our audience and our people in our community.
I was just going to chime in real fast. I told you I couldn't be quiet. Shoshi, if you put the link in the chat window over there, like to just the website or however you would like people to check you out or contact you there, I'll be sure and share it in our Twitter stream tonight.
Okay.
I imagine that caused quite a kick-up of discussion.
Yes, it will definitely be of interest to people.
So we're going to go to Twitter news. Let's see. Well, first of all, I know I just saw KK Hendon post. She's got a big announcement to make. It was sort of a teaser announcement because she's got a big new book to announce in July. And for those of us who are really psyched for KK books, that's a long time to wait. But she seems really excited about it, so I'm really excited about it. And
all I see is that she's happy dancing. She's happy dancing, so it has to be a good thing, people.
It is a good thing. And KK really knows how to happy dance because she works with preschoolers, and nobody happy dances the way they do. And she is using something, and I swear I'm going to talk poorly about this because it just crossed my eyeballs like 10 minutes ago for the very first time. She's using something called Thunderclap, which C. Giovanni is also using, and it's got something to do with social media and joining together and rounding up tweets. So check out both of them and what they're up to because this Thunderclap thing sounds really interesting. And,
yeah, it's kind of like Kickstarter with social media. It's very interesting. Yeah. So if
you have to collect like 100 people that agree to tweet at the same time, right?
Ah, that's how it works. Okay.
I
We're
think
kind of learning on the fly here.
Again, I have a flip phone, so I might be wrong, but I think you get 100 people to sign up to tweet something at the same time, and then it like auto tweets for them, so you don't have to remember to tweet it or set it to Hootsuite or anything like that. It just does it for you. But again, I'm not entirely sure.
I wonder what algorithm that's working on because that's something. There's something to that. There's like something that kicks it into the greater sphere if you can get a certain number of people doing something at the same time. As far as my understanding goes.
So yeah, Cassandra Giovanni and KK Hendon are both doing their Thunderclap thing, so they've been tweeting in the stream thing, so just check that out. We also have Mina Esguerra. She started an NA Chick Lit bundles featuring Filipino authors, so you can also check that out.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Our resident cat, her only news is I finished building my Lego DeLorean, and she even put a picture, so you can go look at that.
I love Kat. That is my favorite news. Sorry, everybody else.
And finally, Southern Mess Mom says, my good news is that I finally broke the 10,000 word count on my book. Big achievement for me and my friends.
Huge! Becca, congratulations.
That is awesome.
And that's our news for the week. Wait. Amelia TD also says, my good news is Taming Fate released on Tuesday. 15th century fantasy romance. That's interesting.
Ooh,
I love awesome. Amalia writes the Fate of the Gods series. I think this is actually a book in that series. And what she does that's so neat is she takes all the gods from all the different cultures and kind of mashes them up. So you've got like Thor and Zeus and Adam and Eve and like everybody together. It's really cool.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I have crazy news, and I sort of need everybody's help. So I had Clicks go free this week, and it is involved in a promotion with iBooks, which is kind of interesting for this crowd because it's a first-in-series book, and it's on there with like Tiffany King and Jessica Sorensen and Christy Cook and some of our friends. But then I wasn't expecting Amazon to make it free because they're usually slow, and they made it free yesterday, and they kind of promoted it today. So if anybody wants to download Clicks on either of those platforms today, I'd be super duper grateful because, yeah, it's been fun.
Amy's rankings, you guys, like her rankings are huge right now. She's like top 10 in 2 categories the last time I checked, which is just awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it was in the 300s last time I checked, which was dinner, and that's just enough to make me want to like eat my toenails because that's not. I didn't think that's what was. I was just like waiting for the links from Apple today. I was really excited about that. I thought that Amazon would make it free like at some point in July, considering how everybody's going with them. But yeah, I don't know. It's all good news. So thank you.
You guys go download Clicks, and then Amy can climb even higher.
And then go vote for Ul.
You guys, he's only down by like 10%, and by my math, which actually my math is good. It's my flip phone that's not. I think it's only like 40 votes. So please go vote for him.
And just to show you the power of the NA community, really, you guys, like this morning I posted on Facebook for ST, and Jay has retweeted it, and it was like all about
so awesome.
And it was so nice of her. And I just think that even though obviously they write very different kinds of romances, one is sweet and one is super siren-esque, you know, like we are a community here, and we all have to look out for each other, and it's a good thing.
Well, and even funnier, we share the same cover model, but we didn't realize it. I have, his name is Robert Rydell, if anyone wants to ogle him, not the blonde guy. We don't know who he is, and we really want to, so if you know, please tell me. But the brunette guy on tour, his name's Robert, and he's the cover model for Jay's book, and his mom has found me, and she's like, I don't know what to do. It was really cute. So J.A., I love your taste in men.
Ooh. All right, so back to Google.
God, teach us the Google.
Teach us the Google. Okay, so Shoshi, there's a lot of moving parts to Google.
Yeah.
Now, we've got G+, we've got YouTube, we've got Google Play, which is a kind of separate category that a lot of authors like to ignore, and we might tackle that a different night, but I feel like it needs to be mentioned because I can only imagine that everything with Google as part of its name is all tied together.
Right.
We've got Blogger. What else do we have? And tell me where you start with a post in order to build your brand to the strongest.
Well, you can have either kind of like what Facebook would call, you can have a fan page, or you could just have a regular page. Some of you may want to do more of the business page. But you cannot run contests. Google doesn't allow the contest the same way that Facebook does. So
what do you have?
I have a regular page, but I'm not big on fan pages.
What's the difference?
Well, there's not as people can follow you versus friend you. So that's kind of the difference. It's more about following versus friending. You can still put people in circles, but it's more about following and friending. I like to have people. I'm sorry? What's
a circle?
A circle is where you can put people. So you can put people into particular categories. You may have so what's great about it is you can call some of your fans your super fans. And if you want to do a special hangout for them, you do that. Then you can have fans. Then you can have, say you have your boyfriends, your fans that love that boyfriend. You can put these people in particular circles, so you can just send something out to them if you want to, or not.
Right. So in other words,
like a list.
Yeah, like I have a list for like family. I don't really want them to see some of the stuff I post on this, so I don't include them into the post. It just kind of excludes them by default, as long as you define which circle you want to be using at a specific time.
So when you post something, you click on which circle you want it to go to, and then it goes to the. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, I'm really naive.
Not everything you do has to be public. It can just go to a particular group of people.
Okay.
Which is great. Yeah.
I think I get you.
Okay.
The kind of annoying thing is that it sort of makes you put somebody in a group just to like connect with them at all. You can't just say, "This is Shoshi and she's mine." You've got to segment one way or another, or they won't let you listen.
And the easy way I got around it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like an easy way I got around it was like I just had like a circle called everyone, so I just kind of dump people by their default. And if I want to get more specific with them, I have smaller circles that they can go in.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys use that?
I just have people in everything. Like if I don't want you to see it, you probably shouldn't be my friend. So I don't have time for all that. But you can be as specific as you want to be with it. You can make a choice but that's what's great about it too. Like it sounds like there's a lot more work involved, but it's not really. What's great is you're able to do something special for you like, oh, I'm going to move this to my super fan list, and then that way you can do something for them, or you can do something just talk to your family or whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, I would say the hardest part about setting up a G+ account is literally the first 10 minutes when you're just inserting, oh, this is your name, this is the first circle you're going to make.
Okay, so let's just talk the internet at large. Because here's what confounds me. I do pretty well on Twitter and Facebook, I think. I mean, for what it's worth, I've really grown the people that I'm allowed to talk to there over the past year, period. From a numbers perspective, and I've definitely noticed more engagement over the past few months, and I'm starting to figure out what the people that I'm, in the world with want to talk about. I definitely get the biggest hit on G+ when I post something there. But I'm sort of intimidated about what to post there in a way that I don't think twice about what I'm putting on Twitter or Facebook. And while I do overlap a little bit with the two of them, I do understand that I'm having separate conversations, So how do you figure out what to post first on Google+?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why are you trying to have different conversations? I don't understand that. So
I guess I kind of feel like I'm talking to slightly different people on these places. Or maybe there's not such a big difference between Facebook and Twitter. It's more like different conversations between like Tumblr and Facebook.
Well, I'm the type of person, since I'm on every platform, I do not post the same things on every platform. So I guess figure out who you think is paying attention to you on Google+, but I think you're putting too much emphasis on what should I post. Just post, see what works. If you get crickets on something, then maybe that's not what you post there. But when you start to see what's working, that's what you continue to post. Or decide something that you want to have specifically for Google+ and do that.
That's a good idea. So, like, I don't really have a place where I talk all about dolphins in any kind of meaningful way, but I do notice when I put something up on Google+, it really does raise the searchability of whatever I'm talking about in a huge way.
Maybe you just have like a huge dolphin fan base on G+. Who knows?
Excuse me, you guys really need to know, and Michael Simcoe, if you're out there, Megan Vernon proposed to somebody this weekend with a dolphin ring, and she made dolphin sounds on video, and you guys need to get your hands on that. She was making dolphin sounds on our panel and during the proposal, so that exists. That's all I'm going to say right now.
We believe you.
God, I love Megan so much.
Yeah, I'm still recovering from Megan so much. I can't drink with the 26-year-olds anymore, but that's another story. So we won't talk about that on Google+, because that's not really where we need the searchability. What have you found that really works for you, Chris? Because you're pretty good on Google+. I see you a lot in there.
I don't use it very actively, but I do use it sometimes. One thing I like to do is anytime you comment on a YouTube video, there's a little checkbox which allows you to send that comment that you made along with the video over to your Google Plus page. So if you're really active on YouTube, but you don't like put out videos all the time, you can comment and that'll aggregate over to your G Plus, which is nice. I was really into G Plus like when it first came out of its public beta, and that's actually how I found out first about New Adult. Second, met David Arney, who helped EJ start the Hangouts, and I'm here. I got invited to these Hangouts, and I'm still around.
Which is really good for all of us.
What I would say about G Plus is like, it's less intimate than Twitter or Facebook, where it's more like you're talking directly to people, but it's an easier way to meet new people and network. It's really, really good as a networking tool. Like, I never really thought about networking as a thing until I got G Plus, and it's like, wow, I meet all these people who are also authors like me. That's awesome.
All right, so that makes sense. I do see it as building community. Now, Shoshi, talk to us about YouTube and how these things tie together, because I know that they do. Chris just told us that they do, but I don't think I tied them together hardly at all.
Well, Google changed it. Google Plus changed it to where you have to have a Google Plus account to even have a YouTube channel. So that's kind of important. So automatically, they are linked. It has pissed off a lot of YouTubers, and that might actually, there's rumor that could go away. Nobody knows yet what will be happening. But right now, to have a YouTube page, you have to have a Google Plus page. Therefore, so that's what's great about it as well. You can use both. And like I said, with the Hangouts, specifically, when you do a Hangout on air, you can send it to be recorded to your YouTube page. And there's the connection right there. And it goes up on your Google Plus page, and then it's up on YouTube. So that's great, and you don't really have to do anything extra, which is wonderful, because we as writers, we are busy writing and doing all these other things.
Well,
So,
and we do a ton of, obviously, Google Hangouts, and they go to my Google page. But I'm constantly sort of surprised and simultaneously ashamed at how little I manage to connect them to. I mean, we've interviewed some amazing people on this show, and I don't necessarily feel like we always get the word out, maybe like in the most effective way possible. So what are we missing in that? Is there anything else we should be doing besides just
getting the word out about the show?
Well, no, and getting the word out from between Google Plus and YouTube specifically.
Well, are you giving people the option to watch them in either or places?
I believe so. That's an easy
Yeah, we
question.
can watch them in on G Plus and on YouTube. So that's an option. I think what she means is like, how can we better inform people like who's going to be on the show or like when the show is going to air and stuff like that.
On the Google Plus page. Well, I mean, besides posting it, I mean, there's not much. I mean, you can do it as an event. You can put that up, and then when people are searching for events, they can find it. That's a great way to advertise it. I'm assuming some of you are part of the wonderful writers groups that there are on Google Plus. If not, get on those and let people know that you're doing this, because there's a lot of writers groups, tons, great writers communities to spread the word. There used to be, and I'm sure there still is, there's a Google Hangout calendar where you can list your Hangout, which is great. I'm assuming that's still, I can't imagine that's not around. I think it keeps getting revamped, but you can find that as well. Let me see, what other ways on Google?
So what do you do with Google Hangouts? Because I know we do them for this, and we have a great time with it, and people seem to like them a lot, and authors are always coming to me and saying, you know, how else can you use Google Hangouts? And I've just done this. So what do you like to do with them, and where do you see them working really well for people?
I use them with my clients. I don't use Skype anymore. I use them with my clients. I also use them for a personal, private, people who really rocked. I have classes. I have meetings. And I disagree with it not being intimate, because if you have an intimate circle, you can do something specifically for that circle, and you can have a really intimate, fabulous group. You can do them for book clubs.
How many people do you think is the max that somebody should have on a Hangout?
If you're going to have guests, I'd say how many do we have? I think right here is about good.
Yeah,
What, 5 or 6?
Yeah, because what happens?
I'm pretty sure like at 8 it kind of cuts you off and you can't let anyone in, but that might be an old rule.
No, you can't, but that's still a lot of people. It kind of can get miscombobulated. I don't stay on those Hangouts because after a while everybody's trying to talk. So it's still, to me, too many people. But this is a pretty good amount.
How do they do book clubs then?
Well, they'll have, some people have 8 people, and then they have people, you know, chatting, going back and forth. People do it all the time. This is like the biggest book club thing now, especially for writers who want to be guests in book clubs.
Yeah.
A lot of writers are not traveling anymore. They're using Google Hangout as the book club and going around the world. They start it there. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I love it, and we've been talking about trying to figure out a way to do a book club, and I know that it's possible, but I haven't seen any great examples of it yet. And I know also, like, in our community, we do a lot of Facebook parties, and you know, there's always market saturation, and I had one of the people that I first met in NA Lit Chat, Chelsea Cameron, over the weekend, was like, let's do a Google Hangout party. And we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out something fun that we can do with you guys. That this is so businessy, and I love it. But we're going to like just find a way to do gift battles.
I mean, there are a lot of people doing launches on Google Hangout as well. If you're looking for good examples, for those of you out here who are like, I don't know how to do it, I would go to YouTube and actually look for Hangout on Air, hashtag that, and you'll start to find these things. These things exist. They're out there. This isn't new anymore.
No.
You realize like this entire chat is literally blowing my mind. I know nothing. I'm writing everything down as you speak.
You say that, ST, but you're here every week and you do a great job. So.
Thank you, but I don't even know how to access our Google Hangout page that EJ sends me. I'm like, it's confusing, and so I just come straight to here. Like I am so excited to have all this new knowledge.
So one thing I wanted to throw out from on air, to get Shoshi's opinion on, or from Twitter, excuse me. Steph Pajonas just tweeted out and said, she said, I tried to use G Plus Hangouts for a blog tour, and none of the bloggers jumped at that. She said that it would have been so cool to be able to do it. And I have that same instinct. Like, I think of all these cool ways that we could use Hangouts, and whenever you try to branch that out and get other people to use it, I get that whole wall of, well, you know, we don't know how to use it, we're not familiar with Google Plus, who actually uses Google Plus. So I was wondering, Shoshi, do you have any tips for anybody, like how to approach non-G Plus users to integrate them? I don't know if you've encountered that at all, or if you just kind of keep it within the ecosystem.
No, there are a lot of people that aren't adapting, because I interview writers, and a lot of them haven't been on, but you know what? What I try to do is give them an example, and I talk to them about Google Hangouts and tell them how easy this actually is. And then they start to get interested. But like I said, I tell them, I either give them a link to an example, or I just get them on a Hangout and I walk them through it, and then they go, oh, that's not so hard.
That is what we need. Well, that is what I need.
Yeah, I would say, like, I mean, I do that every week, and I can honestly tell you guys that the reason that we started doing the awesome pre-interviews where you guys get videos with all the authors is because it can be a teeny bit tricky to get on here the first time, and we were finding it sometimes took longer than the 15 minutes that we allotted. But once people get it, it's so fun, and it's really pretty easy. But you have to be prepared that it could take, 20 minutes to get everybody on.
Yeah, I would say, like, it's not hard. It's really not hard to use G+. There is a learning curve for the Hangouts, but that's pretty much it. And it's just like, you have to try it. If you don't try it, you're not going to learn it.
Right.
But I would say, Steph, I think you're talking to the wrong people. Shoshi and I actually got to hang out for a few minutes at BEA. And there's a huge community of booktubers out there, and they are selling books.
Yeah.
And that was seriously one of the big stories to come out of BEA 14 this year. And it's a different crowd than the book bloggers. And we all talk every week about how we think blog tours need to change and things that worked a year ago even. I mean, this business moves at the speed of light, and you've got to kind of keep trying to come up with new things. So go research booktubers and talk to them about your blog tour needs, because they're already doing this. They're already on board. I got really lucky, and this booktuber found me at Utopia, and I was like, really, you want to talk to me? Because I totally want to know more about this. And we just kind of like mutually fangirled for a couple minutes, because I know it's huge from what BEA and people in the industry are telling me, but it's even different from what we do, and I just think, like, start talking to different people, and you'll really find there's a whole second community and third community of people that are in different places that are doing really interesting things, but you can't necessarily expect it from the more traditional book bloggers who are good at what they do and they stay in that wheelhouse.
So I have a question. Now, I think I'm pretty good at using G+, but the one thing that I don't understand, like the intricacy of, is the SEO. Like, when you say SEO, it's just like this big brick wall that falls on my head, and I'm just like, these are acronyms that I'll never understand. Could you tell me a little bit about, like, how it works behind the scenes?
Ooh, good question, Chris.
Well, long story short, since it's a Google product, they pump it up on the search engine first. It is against the law. Apple has tried to sue them for this, and it hasn't worked. It is what it is. It's their product. They want it to be at the top. So if you have a WordPress blog, that's great. But if you put it on, like Amy said, Blogger, they're going to, of course, pick their product first. Actually, it is also connected to a Google Plus page. So it's kind of like, okay, it's the product, and it's the search engine. So that's why it's going to technically show up first. I mean,
so
it's kind of,
it basically, like, boosts your results in the search to be more apparent and, like, higher in the Google search, right?
that, and also anybody you are connected to is going to pump up your stuff to them even higher, because Google changed that too, like a couple years ago. So your inner circle is going to see your stuff over other stuff, as other people, other writers.
Interesting. So it's keeping you connected to the people that you're connected to on Google Plus 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, that is kind of a big mind blower because that automatically makes me want to run out and gobble people up on Google Plus in a way that I've never bothered doing before. No, I mean, not to put it like crassly, but like all this time on the Facebook page, which gets you nowhere.
Nowhere. I finally learned the Facebook, and it's not really working.
Yeah.
Facebook is good, like if you're good at it, but because they only send out your post to 10% of your audience, that means if you have a small audience, that's great, like most of them are seeing it. But if you have a large audience, like 1,000 or more people, that means only 100 people are seeing it. That's not very good.
You know
but
what?
Google Plus has nothing like that.
Nope.
I shared a table with Delphina, she's been on our show before. She's got the blog Delphina Reads, and her Facebook page has like almost 9,000 people on it, and she's got the same problems that I do, where she'll post and like 9 people will see it. And I mean that's a 7,000 person difference in the ostensible sizes of our community, and she's still having, you know, they seem like they changed their algorithm last week, as a matter of fact, because
they did, because I started getting a lot of ads from them to boost my own post. I'm like, why are you advertising me? I don't understand. I don't want to buy me.
but I mean,
I don't understand.
Like, so I'll do giveaways. Like, if you guys come to me for a giveaway, you know that I'm so happy to give books or do whatever. And it always asks you, like, what do you want to put in the Rafflecopter? Where do you want people to go do something and follow you, or this, that, and the other? And, you know, I was picking Facebook for a while, and now I pick Twitter. And I think I'm going to switch to Google+. If that's really the case, and expanding your circles really broadens your reach over the entire internet 24/7, that's a huge thing for people to know about.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you guys just define real quickly what SEO is, just for everybody that might be
God, what is
Search engine optimization, I think?
Yeah, search engine optimization.
That's it.
And why is
What
it?
does it mean?
Yeah, like what is it? What's the relevant?
It
reason? Like,
optimizes your results in a search engine. So you're basically like breaking it down. So like, let's say I wanted to see cats. Well, EJ posts tons of cats on Google+.
He does not, does he?
No.
He should. However, let's say that I was going to look up cats on Google. And when I type cats into Google, I get a variety of search results. I'll probably get like the Wikipedia for cats. I'll get a cat video from YouTube, but I'll also potentially see EJ's post about cats, whatever he was saying, linking to his Google Plus account. Moreover, if I'm in his circle on Google Plus, I am more likely to see anything he happens to post about cats whenever I search on Google.
Okay, so it basically takes your kind of search engine history and customizes your search to what you've been searching and who you know on Google+?
On Google Plus and off Google Plus, because there's a lot of websites which will try to boost their own rankings. So like if you visit, you know, like if you visit Goodreads, you might start to see Goodreads ads on the top of your little Google search. So it's because you went there and they know your search history since you used Google to get there, so they'll give you more similar things to Goodreads and books and stuff like that because they know that's what you're looking for.
So it knows everything you do on your computer?
Well, yeah,
Not
it does
necessarily,
anyway.
but
Don't you know, like, do you ever go searching for swag and then like 5 days later you're still getting recommendations for customized pens?
Yes, that makes me a little uncomfortable, to be honest, that it knows so much.
Yeah, it makes everybody a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest, that it knows so much. But in this case, what Shoshi is saying, which I did not know before tonight, and I knew she was going to blow my mind, I just didn't know it was going to be with this little detail. What she is saying is that your computer gets customized pretty much 24/7 based on the people in your Google Plus searches, circles. That's huge, you guys. That's huge.
Yep.
I don't even know what to say about that. Like, my mind is blown.
The other thing is, since you get a lot of if you are active on YouTube and you make videos often, those, since they get aggregated to your G+, are more likely to appear on Google if someone happens to search for that particular video.
So this is where I think this whole thing falls apart for us, because forgetting about my little part in this world, we've interviewed some like major people on here, and I feel like maybe we're just not tagging them appropriately, because I'll look at things and I'll be like, how have only like a few people watched this when it's probably not as much to do with any lit chat and more about like who their fan bases are. So that's why I think, and I know EJ and I have talked about this, and we've talked about this with some of you guys, but we want to make it easier for you to find the authors and the people that you love, and that we get to interview and you can come back and see them easily. So we're working on that for you.
One of the real tricks is just like any social media, consistency. If you are consistent in posting regular stuff, you'll gain more followers. That's just how it works. And like if you, like EJ, if he's great at posting cats on G+, all cat people are going to follow him. That's just the way it's going to work, and he's going to pop up more for them in their searches for more cats on the internet. So if you post a lot about books or your book, whenever someone searches your book on Google, your book is more likely to pop up at the top, or at least your G+ page will, and they could redirect from there to wherever you're selling your book.
All right. Hey, Shoshi, talk to us about your author thing. I know that there is something that Google has that assigns you a number, an algorithm. I'm not sure what it is, but I keep hearing that I need my official author name. I need to find a way to tie it into my WordPress. And then Google, everywhere I post something on the entire internet, will automatically like link things. Is this fact or fiction, and how do I do it?
It is true, and I'm going to tell you what I know, because even I was like, I got to get back on that. Basically, you go, and I believe it's Google authorship. Like, just Google that, and it'll come up.
That's the word, Google authorship. That's
yeah, and you go to the page, and it'll ask you your name and to start filling things out. And basically what that does is it finds any piece you've written, whether it's a blog post or whatever, and it will connect itself to all of those things, and it will come together, and it will highlight it. So if somebody's searching for you or searching for something, you're being highlighted, and it's going to come up. It helps you find old pieces, stuff you're like, I don't even remember I wrote that. But it's really great because it'll come to recognize your name, and it's all connected. It's really fabulous. It's been a while since I've looked at that page, and they're always changing stuff. That's good and bad. So I know at this point it's been updated. So it's really easy to find if you Google authorship, and it's very
Google makes me giggle.
It's very self-explanatory. It'll just ask you certain questions, and it'll find you. And I think you can even start putting in a few of your own links, if I remember correctly. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look as I'm saying this now. But it's a great tool because it helps, once again, with your SEO and everything else. Because your SEO is really golden, because you're building yourself as a brand. You are a brand. Whether you like it or not, your name is your brand. Get over it. It's a brand. If you want people to be able to find you at all times, it is what it is.
And what's nice about the whole author thing is that it makes your link in Google more appealing to click, because it will, you know how if you search something on Google, it'll just have these blue text of just here's the thing that you're going to click on. If you are in this author thing, I'm not really sure how it works, but it's worked for me a few times by random. I don't know. But it will show the link like it normally appears, and then a little picture of you, and then your name, and then how many views that thing has gotten. So it makes it more appetizing for the person who happens to search that thing and be like, wow, 300 people viewed this thing. I think I will too.
It's pretty cool. It's actually more than pretty cool. Now, I mean, I'm probably not the only one that has this. There are a few Amy Evans out there, and I keep trying to figure out if I should do a Google AdWords buy to try to make sure people find my name first when they're looking for me. I mean, it usually comes up within the top 3 posts, I think it did the last time I checked. What's the best strategy for people to make sure that they are easy to find on all of Google and, online?
That's a good question, Amy.
Sorry to put you on the spot, because we didn't talk about this in any of the pre-chat stuff, but if you know the answer, I'd be so grateful to hear it. And if you don't, maybe somebody in Twitter land can help us out with this one.
Right, with the same name. That is Amy Evans, how do you come up over? Because I'm assuming you're using the same name on all, your Twitter, your Google, your everything?
Ish.
Okay. Because I was going to say that's a good place to start.
Well, but I mean, it's not just me. So Amy Evans is taken on Twitter, so I'm like AAMMYYSS, which is goofy, and actually my husband keeps trying to get me to change it. But I have that on, I think, Twitter and Wattpad and a few places, and Blogspot. So it's not the only place that I am that. I'm either Amy Evans or Amy Evans Books, I think. I've tried to get rid of everything else. But
I can say two things that help off the top of my head. One is if you have a strange username, make it consistent. Use it everywhere, because that way, if someone doesn't know where to find you, they can default to your username and be like, well, he calls himself Hey Chris Fox on Twitter. Maybe it's the same thing on Facebook. And it is. That's why people find me. It's the same thing on YouTube as well. So I use my Hey Chris Fox tag everywhere. It just makes it simple. Another useful thing you can do.
Is that your website too? Sorry.
I don't know if I have it, but yes, it is my website. Yeah, I remember my own website. Good job. Another thing you can do is have similar profile pictures in the variety of your different social networks. That way, if someone recognizes you on Twitter and they're like, well, I'll look them up on Facebook, and then they see your same picture on Facebook, you're like, that's the one. That's not Amy Evans from just random place that no one knows. That's Amy Evans that I know, that I want to follow.
I remember that. We had someone on that told us to try to match all of our pictures everywhere.
Yeah, consistency is good in both the stuff you post and the way your profile looks.
Well, and Kat, our Twitter person, she basically just kind of recommended similar to Chris, but I think it works as well. She has two handles, so basically it's either Elisa Cat Van Sil or Cat Girl Studio, and it's either one of those two. And I think that also works. If you can't, sometimes you can't just pick the one because it happens to be taken somewhere else. But even if it's weird, but I think if you do the two like that, and I will second also the idea of your picture.
Well,
on
here's
Twitter,
a question.
It's like a crowd for me. The feed moves so fast, and I literally do facial recognition. That's how I stop on tweets. I'll be like, ooh, I know that person by their face. And so if they change their profile picture every week, or it's not their face, or like yours, if you use Elsker, for instance, as your book cover, as long as that's consistent across all your sites, I'll know that's ST. If I see it flash across on Twitter or whatever, I'll know that's who that is, and I'll backpedal and go find that tweet out of 1,000 that just went by just to see what you said.
Well, that's my other question. I know a lot of us change our abbeys when we have a new release. Is that a bad thing? Should we just keep our picture that everyone knows, or is it a good idea to put your new book cover out there so people see the book cover in your abbey?
It goes either way. It depends on what you want them to see most. And if they're already following you, they're more likely to be like, oh, that's the same person once they learn your new picture, and they'll get used to it. And people change pictures all the time, so most people are adaptable. But if you're looking for new people and they're trying to get connected to you across the place, that consistency can help them move from one place to the next.
That makes sense. Just be consistent.
Yeah.
Also, I'll add with colors as well. I use the same colors in everything that I do, whether it's my sex stuff, because people identify with color, and color actually moves emotion. Amy, I kind of agree with your husband. I think the name is very important. I'm really big on branding with names lately. I think that there's something to that, and I see that most people that really blow up, it's a name. People know names. So
are we going to have a contest to figure out what to change my name to? Because I don't know.
I think you should. I think you should.
I'm going to say, hey, Amy Evans. I like that, Chris. I'm going to steal it.
Hey, something like that. I mean, we all know the Oprahs and the Martha Stewart. We know their name. We don't care what they do. We just know their name. I'm just saying they can do whatever they want to. We know their name.
We kind of care what they do.
Well,
I'm officially changing my handle to Oprah Wesley.
and he will post about cats.
Yes, D.A. Boda just had a really interesting idea. Sometimes the tweets do reach me in the middle of the broadcast, especially when they're funny. Yes.
Oh, there's another one. Do you want to hear Michael Ghost tweet for you, Amy?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Michael wants to know, so if Clicks is flirting, is the follow-up to Clicks some kinky dolphin story?
No, it's not.
I have one.
In the children's category, Michael.
I have one for you. Sorry.
ST.
I'm sorry. It just was okay. That was Michael. I gotta mute myself.
I protected you from lots of things today.
It was just Michael. Okay, we're good.
We're good. All right, Shoshi. What do we need to know? What are the top 3 tips for mastering Google?
Play with
World
it.
domination via Google. What do we need to do?
I say you got to get on there and you got to play with it. Just start tinkering with everything that's there. That's actually how you really learn how to do social media. So, because once you learn how to master things, you just start playing with things and then you figure out how it works. Number 2, know that it's not the Facebook and it's not Twitter. If you're going to be there for likes, you're going to be disappointed. It's not what it's about. It's about other things. It's about people coming in and possibly just reading stuff or people finding you on the fly. You're not going to have a bunch of likes and all that other stuff.
People have a lot longer staying power, though, so I think that that's something important for people to think about.
Well, because Google's been around forever. I mean, I remember like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, really. I mean, right when the internet came out, Google was not really well known, but it was really effective. Like, if I searched something, it would get what I needed fast.
Well, yes, and I agree with that, but I mean the posts that you make on Google Plus stay relevant for much longer. Is that my imagination, Shoshi, or is that actually true? Because nobody's going to find the nonsense I posted on Facebook over the weekend, pretty much anywhere.
Right. You are right. And you can also hashtag on Google Plus and also know there's no word limit. So your post can be as long as you want. If you want to write a quick little, hey, here's a short story I wrote, you can post that. There is no word limit on your post.
I'm so inept at this kind of thing. Is there some kind of website someone like me could go to? Because even going onto Google Plus and tinkering I would find intimidating. Is there like a For Dummies kind of page I could look at, or is that just not out there?
Actually, there are a lot of experts that do hangouts on how to use Google Plus. You can actually find them on Google Plus. You can find them on YouTube.
Okay.
And I would try to find the latest videos because Google Plus does change like everything else.
Okay.
And Google Hangout changes as well, not as much as it used to, but it's kind of staying strong. And it will go through another change. We don't know what will happen, but it will. My third tip, what's my third tip? And play with the Hangouts. I definitely say everybody just start playing with Hangouts and see what that feels like because it is a tool that you can do tons with, whether you just have one-on-one Hangouts or you want to do something like this or create your own show. Whatever you want to do, you can do it on Google Hangout. Lots of celebrities use Google Hangout. Reporters use Google Hangout. It's a great tool. So check that out and see what you can do.
And I just like Google. Go ahead, EJ.
Oh, I was just going to throw it like just what Yoshi just said. Like you can use it for anything. You don't have to use it with interacting with strangers or random people. There are write-ins. Like people do weekly write-ins on Saturdays with just like their writing group, like their friends from online, like their blogging writing friends, where basically everybody shows up, they join a hangout, they set a timer, everybody kind of mutes themselves, they write for an hour like you would a normal write-in, and then everybody unmutes themselves, they talk for 10 minutes, and everybody writes another hour or whatever. And it's just a great way to socialize with other writers, even if you don't use it for anything else. Like you don't have to use it for promotion or anything like that. Just
it really is. It can be used for like an editing circle or a writing circle. It can be used pretty much for anything you would do in real life, just with like webcams, or like we're doing right now. We don't even have webcams on. We just have static pictures, and it's just fine.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this is great because we, with the video, it's definitely a little bit wonkier, like when we do the videos with just 1 or 2 people. So I think I would recommend if you guys do want to get a group of people together, make sure you tell everybody to lower their bandwidth and probably do it just a static with audio only because you can get a really rich experience without making everybody's computers go crazy.
Yeah, if you have good tech, you can do like a streaming like webcam with everyone in there, and it's like you can see everyone's face. Oh, how cool! But if you can't do that, don't worry about it. There's plenty of other things you can do. The one beginner's tip that I would say, if like you don't know what to post when you get on G+, but you're active elsewhere, would be if you write blog posts, like old-style blog posts, just copy-paste them basically to G+. That's a good way to get started. It'll put your name there, and people can read the stuff they would normally find on your blog, but in a new place. And since there is no word count, it doesn't really matter. It's not like Twitter where it's just like, oh, here's a link, and who knows who's actually going to click on it. They can actually read the whole post there, or they can just click over and go to your actual blog.
That's very cool. All right, you guys. Anything we need to know from Twitter? Any last news? Any last questions for Shoshi? Shoshi, anything else you want to tell us about your new world domination takeover with Book Trove?
My new role. I'm just excited. Anybody get in touch with me. I'm always here for anything and even if you have a question about Google Plus, Twitter. My Twitter following is pretty awesome. I think I'm at 115,000 at this point.
Yeah, you're on Twitter.
I love the social media. Makes me happy. But definitely, if you've got an erotica or spicy romance, I want to talk to you. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Thank you for coming. We've been stalking her to come on for this for a really long time. We've been planning this, right, EJ? I think like at least a few months. So we're so excited that this worked out, and it's been so much good information. And I know, sometimes you hear a big pop in the universe, and over the past few weeks, I've seen a lot of people on Google+, but I've gotten a lot of questions over the past few weeks. It's like hitting people's radar in a different way. And I mean, I know what we do here, but I know that there's so much more that we could be doing too, as individuals and as a show. So it's all really exciting for us. Cool. Chris, ST, EJ, do we have any more news from Twitterland? Anything we want people to do or say or think about this week before next week? And I know I don't really, there's a plan, but I'm going back to my Dirty Dancing summer, and we leave tomorrow, so I'll be doing this from Catskills next week.
Right.
I don't know about the rest of you.
I think we may take a break next week. It'll be the holiday weekend kicking off on Thursday.
Okay.
My wife's off work. I think a lot of people are going to be off work, and so we may actually take a rare NA Lit Chat break. I think we've had like 5 of them in the 2 years we've been doing it, but
I think that's a good idea. We'll come back in.
Recharge our batteries. We have a big July plan. We're going to do, in July, I know one weekend, we're going to do sort of gender roles in new adults.
Nice.
We have a lady coming on that's an author that's really passionate. She wrote this a really badass kickboxing new adult story. And part of her agenda, like with writing it, she was really sick and tired of all the helpless female characters she was reading. So she's like, I want to come on and talk about it. So we're going to chat with her.
Yes.
We have a lady that wrote a book for Writer's Digest about new adult, and I think we're going to have her on. It's a big category book, basically, about what all sort of the history of new adult, where it's going, and what publishers think about it, and all that good stuff. So
nice.
Big July plan. So
we have been talking about a super secret fun Tumblr plan as well for the end of July and August.
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we need to do that.
You guys are just trying to confuse me, but I'm going to be so smart by the end of the summer.
Right.
You're so smart anyway. Just go vote for all.
Oh, thank you. And next week, Faith's match is up. So, and then after that, Christy Cook's match. There's a lot of matches. So just stick around.
And don't ask your questions to EJ because he'd like to stay neutral.
Right. Yeah. I've abstained from the tourney. I'm just like, if I keep my head in the sand, then nobody can expect anything out of me.
That's because you're a guy.
The cat posts. Now I'm expecting some cat posts. When I show up on Google Plus, if there's no EJ Wesley cats, I'm going to be really disappointed.
You know who you need to go to is Cat. Like,
That's true.
The one with cat posts. I may occasionally like them, but I don't share any cat posts. Chris is out of his mind. I post a lot of stuff about the Avengers and stuff, though. So.
Yeah.
Did you guys all see the Game of Thrones pugs? Oh my God.
What?
No.
It's epic. I will post it as a way of showing you all how much I love you and how ridiculous, life can be. As soon as we're done here. Shoshi, I love you. Thank you. You're awesome.
So are you.
Thank you for teaching us.
Thank you for having me. Now, go do it, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you take anything away, go to Google Plus right after this ends and set up your account.
I hope you will come and play with us on Twitter sometimes because as much fun as it is in our little room here, it's even more fun out there with the tweets and the craziness and all our silly folks that are so smart and funny all at the same time.
And apparently Megan Vernon posted a video of that dolphin proposal.
Yeah. It took, 3 or 4 takes. That's the embarrassing part.
I'm going to go quick on that.
Mainly because my camera was full. All right. Yolanda Shoshana, you guys go follow her. She's brilliant and beautiful and sexy and smart as hell. So thank you for coming on the show. Chris Fox, you are the bomb.
Thank you.
ST is busy getting votes for Ol and editing book 3, and we're so glad that you came here to talk to us because you always ask the best questions.
I have so many questions. Thank you.
E.G. Wesley, as always, our brave leader and founder who puts up with all of our nuttiness. Thank you for everything.
In truth, I just don't know any better. But
Thank you for always keeping us on track and teaching us so many things. We love talking with you.
You guys are awesome. This has been a big, big love fest. Anyone who follows me on Facebook knows I've pretty much been crying all week. So thank you for making this really lighthearted and really informative and fun. And until next time, this is NA Lit Chat. We're signing off. We hope that you guys have learned a lot and come to us with any questions. And if we don't know the answers, we'll try to get them answered for you. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.